we being charged with doing our job?
The charges will be defined as I hear your testimony. Now, Lieutenant Baird, begin with the last time we saw each other.
Hi, welcome to CMVG's review of Gears of War Judgement. I'm Tim Weaver. I'm here with our reviewer, Ben Griffin. All right, Ben.
Hello.
We've literally wanged straight into one of the highlights of the game here.
We wanged into it. Yeah, that's the flaming tree.
Beautiful flaming trees.
Probably one of the best flaming trees ever.
You talk about this in your review, Ben. We might as well go straight into it and talk about People Can Fly and Epic's use and showing off of their Unreal tech. It really is quite outstanding in places.
Yeah, it's amazing what they've done. Sometimes I was playing on a number of TVs. Some of the TVs I played on, like the high-end TVs, displayed it in 60 frames per second. I don't know how that worked, but it was really impressive, especially considering how busy it is.
Did it make a noticeable difference to the game, or did it your enjoyment of the game?
The TVs.
No, it running at 60 as opposed to 30.
Yeah, I mean, you're still getting like the experience on a 30 frames per second TV, but it's just more impressive than anything, considering how how busy combat gets with the number of enemies on the screen. You can get like up to a dozen, maybe 15 enemies on screen. Combining that with your 3 other teammates, it gets really crazy.
And also the detail on the environments is remarkable.
And
really.
they blow apart as well. Like you can see here, not this bit, but just before this, you saw like a pillar explode, like ledges, and like the waist-high cover kind of crumbles. Yeah, it's really impressive.
Okay, so let's talk about the game itself. People may think it an expansion, but you're at pains to point out that is definitely not the case here. Explain to us what Gears of War Judgement is then.
Yeah, so it's a prequel before the first Gears. You're not playing as Marcus Phoenix now, you're playing as Damon Baird, and he's basically standing trial for treason. There was an order, he didn't follow it, and there's a lot of stuff that comes from that. One
of the interesting things you pointed out in your review is how the trial isn't just kind of like this superfluous story tacked on to the action. It actually has it can have an actual effect on levels. Why don't you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, so the declassified missions, they can affect kind of how the missions play out. So it's really hard to explain actually. I struggled explaining it, but basically there's a little like crimson omen on a wall at the beginning of each level. You'd go up to it, press X, and it will say so it recounts their testimony basically. So Damon would say, for example, when we got to the museum it was really hazy and we couldn't see anything. So if you accept that challenge, the museum will become all hazy and obviously you can't see and it's all misty and stuff. And the reason for doing that is if you complete that challenge you get an extra star bonus, and use the star bonuses to unlock like weapon skins and character skins and all that.
Okay, so just to clarify then, when you're playing through the level as normal, it is how it is, but once you access these omens, they change the levels in kind of subtle ways to kind of back up Baird's testimony on the stand, is that?
Yeah, and there's dozens of different ones, so they're never the same twice. You've got like, one will be like the citizens in the suburbs had like explosives, so that means you have to complete the level in 4 minutes or it'll blow up, or there was wind in the oil rig and the wind was blowing us around, and so you'll be blown around by the wind, and
it's quite an interesting dynamic. That, I mean, I know it's a spin on a sort of formula, I guess, but it's an interesting way to approach a game, because obviously one of the accusations that's going to be levelled at this is that it's another Gears, and I think you address that a little bit and say that because it is another Gears, it doesn't feel perhaps quite as special as it did right back at the start, but there's no getting around the fact that this is still a really, really solid, very more than competent game and an excellent shooter.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a little less special, but it works, and it works well.
So talk to us about multiplayer. 8 maps, is that right?
Yeah, there's 4 maps for kind of deathmatch and execution game modes, and there's 4 maps for overrun and survival game modes.
Okay, so talk to us a little bit about what's new in multiplayer.
Yeah, so you've got overrun and survival. They're the 2 big new modes. There's free for all as well, which is kind of self-explanatory. But Overrun and Survival replace Horde and Beast Mode. So you've got, it's a bit like Rush from Battlefield. If you haven't played that, you've got like little kind of stations you have to defend from a wave of attackers, and if that gets blown up, you move on to the next one, then the next one, and then if you lose the fifth and final station or terminal, or whatever, then you lose the round. But if you defend it, you win the round. In Survival, you're co-op, you're on the same team, and you're facing off against AI locusts. In Overrun, it's the same mode, but the locusts are controlled by actual humans.
Right.
And that's the funnest, in my opinion.
Funnest, good.
That is a word, isn't it?
Good,
I always use that word.
That's a good word.
It counts.
So, okay, so it sounds like it's got everything you need. Overall, it's definitely, despite the fact that you've seen a lot of it before, it's definitely, in your opinion, still worth picking up.
Yeah, it's really good. I gave it an 85, so that means I like it. Just be aware it's not treading any new ground.